The Ragin' Cajun on fire. Longtime Democratic strategist James Carville scolding Democrats for not pumping up the Biden administration's policy wins.
Joining us live is Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Okay, Joe, he went on to say he was scolding his party for complaining about its shortcomings rather than basking in its achievements. So first off, what achievements is he talking about? And second off, do you think they're the whiny party?
Yeah. And third off, who's dressing James Carville these days? Look, he's right about the whiny part, the green, orange, purple. I don't know what's going on there. But look, give me the bacon without the sizzle, right? The premise of Carville's advice is understood, but the facts don't support the argument. He said that the party should tout policy victories, but what policy victories? Outside of the bipartisan infrastructure bill, not much has been done, and people aren't feeling that infrastructure bill because by the time you break ground or you fix all these bridges, and no one's really going to feel that probably for years, but inflation's at a 40-year high, supply chain isn't fixed, there's still a worker shortage, 16 cities did set homicide records last year, the border still is essentially wide open, and Democrats failed to deliver to its far left base, Build Back Better, a massive government expansion, federalizing voting rights. So right now, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's approval is currently at 33% for a reason. To put lipstick on a pig will appear to be tone deaf to the American people if you start talking about how great things are going, because they ain't going great.
Joe, apparently the no whining message didn't reach all the members of the Clinton administration alumni. Former White House press secretary Joe Lockhart, weighing in on another network, had this to say. Listen.
All right. So I think the press is failing. They're treating him unfairly. First off, there ought to have been a dividend for returning truth and decency to the White House. And we didn't get that. We didn't get it at all. We've kind of returned to the snarky attitude that we saw with Trump.
Joe, is the media treating Biden unfairly?
Has Joe Lockhart ever met Joe Lockhart's Twitter feed? Because it's as toxic and snarky as it gets. And to say that the president's being treated unfairly, no, we just listed the record. The record is the record. The polling is the polling. And to say he's being treated unfairly, he's been treated hospitable in terms of those terms, not hostile. And again, there's this perception of Joe Biden, not just the things we talked about in terms of things he's failing on, that he's too old, he's too detached, and he's too incompetent. It's real when you look at the polling. By the way, this is the same show that called Michael Avenatti a serious presidential contender and said that Donald Trump killed more people than Hitler, Stalin, and Mao combined. Therefore, it should not be taken seriously, and it's why so few watch when you use Joe Lockhart, of all people, as a reliable source.
And Joe, I want to get to this. I actually had to do a double and even a triple take on this when that LA Times columnist doubled down on mocking deaths of the unvaccinated. Like I said, this is just kind of shocking. You don't expect people to actually come out and say something like this. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's a racist argument mocking the unvaccinated, because when you look at vaccination rates along racial lines, African Americans, that community, they're the least vaccinated. And I think it's supposed to be this own on, I guess, Trump supporters. But you look at the numbers, and I don't think these columnists realize who they are insulting in the most, just disgusting of terms. And we've seen this movie before, by the way. When Florida had a spike in deaths last year, Jimmy Kimmel goes on a show and he mocked those who died because, they were unvaccinated, and, it was in Florida. It's Ron DeSantis. Hey, it's a good way to hit him now. Who does this when people die in such horrible ways? And by the way, Kimmel didn't do the same when there were spikes in New York and California, nor should he have. And it shows you just what a political football COVID has become, particularly for those on the left. And it's just revolting. We even saw a column, right, saying that the National Guard should be called in to keep the unvaccinated in their homes. I mean, what is going on?
All right, Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot in just the last 20 seconds we've got. The president is going to hold a press conference, we're told, this week. What would be your question, sir?
My question would be, the border has allowed 2.2 million people to come into this country illegally with that record numbers of fentanyl. Fentanyl is now the leading cause of death for those between 18 and 49. What are you doing to address this horrible issue, sir?
That would be a fantastic question. I love it. I hope that someone asked it, and I hope everyone's watching. We're going to put it out there. Joe Concha, thank you for getting us started off on this cold Monday morning.